sure every Bucks fan right now is absolutely ecstatic, rightfully so, because this doesn't just mean that you got Dame. It also means Giannis is probably going to stay a Buck more long term. You know, with his whole drama going on, circulating quotes, making it seem like he might not stay with the Bucks for much longer. I think this probably changes that. This is probably the best duo in the league, just in terms of fit. At least it's up there with Jokic and Murray, Booker, Durant, Bron and AD. It's definitely up there. I think this should make the Bucks the favorites in the East for sure. I didn't absolutely love the deal for Portland, but I don't hate it either. I think that it's about as good as the Heat deal, honestly, unless they flip Drew Holiday for something pretty big. If they're able to flip Drew Holiday for at least another first and, you know, a couple young players, something like that, then I think this makes that deal definitely better than what they could have got from the Heat. If not, you know, Drew Holiday obviously is not worth anything to this Trailblazers team, really. They're wanting to rebuild. They have a lot of young guards. Drew Holiday is just kind of in the way if he's on this roster, which is why I think it's basically sealed and signed that he won't be. It's just depending on where he does end up getting moved. I think what makes the most sense by far is the Sixers, for sure, to reunite with the team he started his career with. And the reason why that makes so much sense is because him and James Harden make about the same exact amount of money. They can make a 3-team deal with the Clippers, send Harden to the Clippers, send Drew to the Sixers, and then send some salaries from the Clippers over to the Blazers. There's a few ways you could do that, but just one example, you could do Norm Powell, who makes 18 a year, Terrence Mann, a nice young guard, makes 10.6, Amir Coffey, you know, another young wing piece, makes 3.7, and then Bones Highland makes 2.3. All of those guys added together, that should be, I think that's somewhere in the mid 30s. I didn't do that math in my head as I said the numbers, but I tested it on the trade machine a while ago. It works. So, and then obviously some picks will be moved around in a deal like that as well. Probably a pick from the Clippers going somewhere, maybe even a pick going from the Clippers over to the Sixers, and maybe, you know, a Sixers first rounder goes over to the Blazers. The Blazers are definitely going to need to get a pick out of this, and I wouldn't be surprised if Daryl Morey puts his foot down and doesn't let a trade go through without him getting something in terms of a draft pick, or, you know, because Daryl Morey is not a guy that likes making lateral moves, even though I wouldn't even really consider this a lateral move because James Harden, his value is very diminished for them because it seems like he's going to be holding out, not playing for this team. Drew Holiday is a huge upgrade there. But like we saw Daryl Morey handling that Ben Simmons situation, he did not cash in on an upgrade just from the standpoint of Ben Simmons being zero. You know, he still basically calculated Ben Simmons as what his potential upside value is and tried to get even more than that. So he might still try to do that with this James Harden deal. Who knows? That is a trade though that I think makes a lot of sense. But from the Sun side of things, I think this is a lateral move at best. You're getting deeper, I guess, but the thing is they did a really good job this offseason signing some minimum deals to fill out that roster to get at least, you know, more than enough rotational level players, not necessarily any like surefire starters, but they didn't get any surefire starters in this deal other than Nurkic, and I honestly hesitate to call him that. For this team, he is a starter, but just in a vacuum. I think Nurkic is a little overrated at this point. He's very big, but that is about it. This makes them much worse defensively in the pick and roll and against a team they really need to beat, the Nuggets. I think Grayson Allen could be a nice rotational piece as a shooter to fill out their lineups. Nasir Little might see some time, but that's really about it. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this move at all for Phoenix. I think Phoenix lost this trade by a pretty wide margin. Obviously, they were wanting to get off DeAndre Ayton because it seems like he's still wanting to be moved. I'm sure that was probably part of it. I don't think they would have made this move if he was willing to, you know, with a new coach and with a new owner, enter this season with a clean slate. I think if he was willing to do that, then we would see him still on this basketball team. That's just my opinion, and that is my reaction.